this is one of the most incredible transformations you're ever going to see. It's truly remarkable. It's so remarkable that it's very difficult to believe. Coach Greg, in today's video, you're not going to believe it, an incredible transformation. And no, I'm not talking about 1 in a million Hussein Farhat. I'm talking about only Cake 7459. He looks like a young Nikocado Avocado, and I'm not talking about in a good way. He looks like Nikocado Avocado in the after, only in the before, when he was just 18 years of age. When I saw this transformation, the first thing I thought is, this is CGI, this is AI, this isn't the same person, but I'm telling you, this is still him. And so this is one of the most incredible transformations you're ever going to see. And so let's start by looking at his before. And so he's currently 18 years of age, and it says M, it doesn't stand for Molly, it stands for male. An 18-year-old male. Now, if you want to feel like you're perhaps doing something else, this is the Hussein mode, the Janicki juice, and the Blue Lobster pre-workout, which is available on the website. And you can tell this has just been sitting on my desk all day here, and it looks incredible. It tastes amazing. And so I strongly recommend it. Code Greg, 15% off. You can get that while you're there getting the Turk Builder Max. Let's look at his chest. First thing we're going to see. This is very unfortunate, but it does seem to be an extreme case of gynecomastia. This doesn't just look like some extra fat. It looks like he actually has gyno. This is from testosterone converting to estrogen. And what we do notice is that I do believe the right chest or breast, if you will, is a lot bigger than the left. It's not symmetrical, as in it looks asymmetrical. But remember, gynecomastia can do this. You can have one chest that it has this and another that it does not. Now, the next thing you're going to see are the extreme amount of stretch marks, that bluish, reddish tinge. They're running up in lines around his abdomen. He's gained so much body fat that the skin cells, they couldn't multiply fast enough. And so we see the appearance of stretch marks. These in the medical world are called striae, and so he has a lot of them. These bluish reddish stretch marks, this is very common in Cushingoid or Cushing's syndrome. And I now want to divert your attention to the shoulders, where you can see additional stretch marks in the exact same fashion. Also very much aligned with Cushingoid presentation. And another direct effect of Cushing's syndrome is central obesity, or the obesity around the abdomen. You can see he has a significant amount of body fat in this area, as well as acne on the nose. And so the first thing I'm thinking is this guy most likely suffers from Cushing's syndrome, and that is caused by excess cortisol and or the use of prednisone. This guy, this young man, he clearly is at a metabolic disadvantage. It's harder than last time for him to lose weight, but not impossible. The medications, prednisone in particular, I don't know his medical background. I don't know if he has an autoimmune disease. Perhaps he had something like Coach Greg. I'm not sure, but I'm telling you, it makes it much easier to put on weight. You're hungrier all the time, and when you eat extra calories, you're going to gain more body fat. And so you're thinking, what are the chances that this guy could make a dramatic transformation? That he could make a before and after so shocking that people would say, it's not the same person, that isn't him. And so the title says 18-year-old male, 78 kilograms, down 50 kilograms. And so he's currently 78 kilograms, just over 170 pounds, and he's lost 50 kg, that's 110 pounds. And so he went from about 280 to 170, and he's 18 years of age. And so he did this as a teenager. The cut went crazy. Nah, bro, that ain't you. That's amazing. Now, I'm hoping this is sarcastic. It says, who gives a shit? Your progress is somewhat inspiring. Well done, you look great. To say this is somewhat inspiring would be like saying that Hussein Farhat's transformation was mid. It's truly remarkable. It's so remarkable that it's very difficult to believe. Damn good shit, bro. Crazy. 50 kg is no small feat, and it looks like you don't have much excess skin too. Generational cut. Jeez, absolutely insane. The reason he made this post wasn't to get people to brag about his transformation. He simply wants to know, yo, what's my percent body fat? It's all he wants to know. And so remember, this is posted on my Reddit forum. And so the comment stated around 16% more or less. 16%, absolutely amazing. Did you have excess skin removed? My wife is struggling with excess skin and nothing is working. Feeling like surgery is the only option. Unfortunately, when you lose a tremendous amount of weight, for most people, the only option is surgery. We've seen Mike Israetel, who gained in a crazy bulk back in his 20s, and he had permanent damage, as in extra fat cells and excess skin, that he had surgically removed. The operation is a nightmare. He states it's at least 5 times harder than dieting. And so here's the thing. Rather than gaining all this weight in the first place, which makes it 5 times harder than dieting, even if you have the money to cut it all off, why not just diet in the first place? The ROI, the return on investment, it's at least 5 times better to diet than it is to cut it off surgically later on. And so, guys, don't let it get to this point. Do something about it right now. Be proactive. If you need a coach, please click the link in the description and apply for coaching with me right now. And if you're interested, of course, you can get my cookbook, the amazing cookbook. You have no idea. Like, this is literally sitting in front of me. It has 680 calories, over 70 grams of protein, and it's absolutely delicious. It's amazing. Just like Mike Thurston. Bruh. Delicious. So I like the softness. Now, I think I've waited enough. I think it's now time for you all to see this guy's incredible transformation. And so remember, you too can do it. If he can do it, you can do it. Remember, not everyone can pull a Hussein Farhat, but if you try and you eat in a calorie deficit, you perhaps have my coaching, you have to have my cookbook, you purchase GLP Max, or you just go to the friggin' gym. You put the fork down. You can do it. And so let's see. Look at the after. Bro has a 6-pack. He's got shoulders, arms, pecs. It's hard to imagine that this is the same person. I don't know how he's not smiling from ear to ear. He looks a little bit disappointed. Just like, yeah, here's my photo. Does this guy not realize what he just accomplished? I mean, it's remarkable. Enough so that I'm literally making a video on it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, well, I got to talk about this guy because he did something special. The first thing I had to see was like, what exactly is going on? Does he have all the stretch marks? And so if you zoom in on his stomach, you will see a little bit of loose skin right at the bottom. He was morbidly obese. Bro lost 110 pounds. He was probably over 50% body fat. Remember, he was bulked up to more than even Mike Israetel, 280. He only has a little bit of loose skin. And if you zoom in, you can see those fine lines to scarring. Look at the nipples. You can see he most likely has had gynecomastia surgery. That amount of body fat and or glandular tissue, it's not normal from just being obese. And so remember, I do believe this guy has Cushing's syndrome. He had an extreme amount of fat cells, which makes it more likely for some of the testosterone to convert to estrogen. And so I do believe he had gynecomastia surgery, and perhaps they took out a little bit too much of the gland. You see there's a gap. You can see the nipple, but there's also something missing. When you get gynecomastia surgery, normally they leave a little bit of the gland so that there is kind of a smooth, rounded appearance. In comparison to before, this guy, he should be so happy, but this guy, he's still not satisfied. And so is it possible he didn't have gyno surgery? It's possible. It's a strange amount of fat that's been removed. But remember, this is a result of having lost all of this weight. And so if you just gave birth to, let's say, quintuplets, triplets, or whatever, and you had a huge belly, and you then lost all this weight, you're going to expect some kind of sagging, stretchy skin and so on. And so he should feel like he won the lottery. I always tell people, how happy you are, it's a measure of how much more you're getting than you actually thought you were going to get. And so if you expected to win $1,000 and you won $500, you'd probably be disappointed. But if you thought you won $100 and you won $500, you're going to be super excited. Now, yesterday, for example, I'm driving Mepstagram to go and operate. They had emergency surgery and she had to get an operation done. I'm driving her down. It's 25 degrees. It's like almost 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's in a McLaren. The top's down. It's a beautiful day. And she's upset. She's having a hard time. She's like, work and, it's this and that. I'm like, do you know how many people would trade places with you right now? Your work days, you're going in to help someone. You're working for 1 hour while doing it in a McLaren. It's a beautiful day. And so you're thinking it's not a good day. For most people, this is their dream day. They're driving in a McLaren alone. It's very exciting. They only had to work 1 hour on a weekday. That is like, this is their dream day. And come back, there's a mansion, a pool, there's all kinds of stuff. Personal chef, everything's going on. And so the thing is, once you get used to having so many good things, it's hard to always appreciate it. And so this is one of the things I remember. And so when I see his old physique and I compare it to this, I'm thinking, does he not remember where he came from? How much happier he should be. But the problem is, once you move the goalpost, you want to move it yet again. Everyone is always hoping for more. And so if I make $1 million 1 year and the next year I make $500,000, I'm disappointed. And so you always need to make more. This applies to making money, to perhaps your relationships. It applies to everything. Once you get used to that certain level that you're accustomed to, you don't think it's enough. And that is very, very sad. And so what you need to do is experience gratitude for what you have. And so this guy, he's actually made multiple posts, and I do believe he suffers from body dysmorphia. It's never good enough. He's never going to be happy. I don't care if this guy becomes Mr. Olympia champion. Oh, my arms aren't big enough. I have a wrinkle here. I have a zit there. There's always something negative that you're not going to like about your body. No matter how many cosmetic surgeries you get, the teeth whitenings, the liposuction, the breast implants, the ass implants, the hair extensions, the fillers, everything. You're never going to be happy. You're always going to be thinking, I need a little bit more. Remember, it's not just from the front. Look at this guy from the back. If I had just showed you this guy, said he's 18 years of age, and check this guy out, you'd say, is he natty or not? Now, my personal belief is, I think he's natural. Is it possible that he's on performance-enhancing drugs? Of course. I don't know. I mean, it's not like he sent me his blood work to go over. I don't have anything to go by, but I think he's natural. If he's not, well, who cares? What I do want you to notice is this is an excellent physique, but yet it still doesn't make him happy. Let this be a lesson. No matter how good that it gets, you're going to want more. Had he have only lost, let's say, 25 kilograms, gotten halfway there, would that not have been enough? That's still amazing. But no, he kept losing. He's at perhaps 16% body fat. A guy in his teens who likely was suffering in the past from Cushing's syndrome, but yet was still able to overcome it. I think he wins. And so seeing as it's happened and he was a teenager, how much is this his fault and that of his parents? I think it's 50-50. I also think that it's 50% genetic and 50% environmental. And by that I mean this. If I had eaten anything I wanted my entire life and never done any exercise, there's no way I would be 110 pounds overweight. Some people, they just don't have it in the cards. Other people, they look at food and they gain weight. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. And so if you're a parent and you have kids that are 100 pounds overweight, are you to blame? It's 50% your fault. Here's why. You're raising your kids. They're 2 or 3 years of age and they start crying. The first thing you do is you feed them. They're having a birthday party. You give them as much cake as they want. Fattening cake. You prepare their meals. You give them junk food. You give them dessert. You give them everything they want. Let's go to McDonald's. Sure, 5 times a week. You instill certain values into them. You also get them addicted to these sugars, fats, and so on. And so when the kid grows up, their entire life they've been told this is the foods you should eat. These are the sugary drinks that you should have. And so how do they then break the cycle? Well, the ones who don't watch Coach Greg, who haven't perhaps watched 3,000 plus of my videos, it's very difficult for them because they don't know what to think. They don't know who to believe. Those of you who have watched my videos, you would understand. You know to eat low-calorie dense foods, to put the fork down, to do 150 minutes of cardio a week. You know all of these things. You know that you don't need to abuse performance-enhancing drugs. But unfortunately, some parents, they don't give a shit. This is how their parents taught them. This is how they see the world. And so they think it's absolutely normal. They think that it's normal to go out for Halloween and have as many candies as you want. Eat whatever. Oftentimes these parents, they think it's normal to get drunk, to drink bottles and bottles of wine. And so the kids see that and then they get drunk when they get older. The cycle continues. And so is it all the parents to blame? I don't think so, but it's probably half them to blame. And so if you're a young teenager and you're watching this, you probably got to this point somewhat to do with how your parents raised you. But now that you're old enough, it's on you. Well, you can't just make excuses. Well, I had an absent father. My mother wasn't around. They cooked me the unhealthy foods. Yeah, it made it hard till right now. But if you're watching this video right now, which I know you are because you just watched me say that, you know that you have a choice and it needs to be made right now. Do you choose to do what you've been always doing, or do you choose to make changes? Are you going to go to the gym? Are you going to go for a walk? Are you going to put the fork down? Are you going to start eating healthier? It's very easy. I know it's hard when you're hungry, starving, and so on, but it's easy to make very small changes. The low-hanging fruit, changing from regular pop to diet, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, parking further away from the gym. Just going out for a walk, having fruits and vegetables instead of chips and candies, having lower calorie ice cream, buying my frigging cookbook. These are simple things that you can do. And so the next time you grab that bag of chips, think, did you actually need it? Or do you just want it? And so if you're overweight, at this point, now that you've watched this video, whatever you happen to this point, well, that's in the past. But the future, it's up to you. Be proactive, make changes right now, ending it here. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. And of course, you can get GLP Max to help control your appetite, GO2 Max help with your cardio, Turk Builder Max build more muscle in the gym. You can get Coach Greg for coaching by clicking the link in the description. And until next time, I am out.